Hello, people. It is your good friend Chat Marco here again with another super duper ultra mega anime review. Okay, now this time we're going back a couple years. This came out in 2005 and it is called Guyver The Bioboosted Armor, created by Yoshiki Takaya, I think, right? Yeah, but anyway, okay, now this anime is about really kind of typical, 14, 15-ish year old Japanese high school student, kind of aloof, not really good at anything in particular, just extremely average, like your perfect self-insert MC. I mean, this guy is as bland as they come, and his name is Sho. He's the main character here. He's gonna be finding the Guyver, but we're gonna get to that. But yeah, he's just a typical lame blank slate MC. Damn, I'm thinking about him now, and it's like I don't like him. I don't like this guy. What did he do that was cool other than? Oh man. All right, yeah, but of course he finds a power suit. If you didn't know, Bio-Boosted Armor Guyver is a power suit anime. Sho, our hero, he finds the Guyver unit. It takes over his body. He gets all kind of superpowers and whatnot. But the thing is, when he finds the Guyver, it belongs to this secret organization called Kronos. And one of their researchers ran off with the Guyver units, and he got into a little scuffle and ended up getting Sho and his friend's hand. And Sho ended up being the becoming Guyver 1. Now, the Guyver is like I said, it's a power suit. It's of course it protects him. It's bullet resistant. It gives him super reflexes, super strength. It's got beams. It's got blades. It's got like gravity balls and all that shit. So it's really a awesome suit, to be honest. But the design is just like the design is. I'm kind of. But there are other Guyver units. There's also Guyver 2, which belongs to this guy named, I think his name was Risker. He was like a top like goon for Kronos, and he ended up getting his hands on one of the Guyver units and became a rival of Sho's for a while. And then there's also Guyver 3, which is controlled by Makishima, and he's like he's pretty much what Vegeta is to Goku for Sho. He's just like that backup side guy. I mean, he's actually pretty fucking thorough. Like, he can throw down, but there are times where like they use him the job. There are times where they use his ass just to get beat so Sho can come in and save the day. So that's kind of his role, but he's a lot cooler and consistent than Vegeta. But yeah, he has like a black Guyver, and Sho has a green Guyver. I think Risker has a yellow one. But now I bet you're wondering, who the fuck are the enemies in this? Like, I know that he has a Guyver, but who would an average high school student have to fight with his newfound power suit? Well, like I said, the power suit belonged to this organization called Kronos. They're trying to take over the world, of course. But they have weapons of their own. Now, see, the Guyver units, those are very rare. There are only 3 known in existence, but there are plenty of these things called Zoyonoids. Now, Zoyonoids, this is when it gets real nerdy. But Zoyonoids are basically the next evolution of mankind. It's they experiment on you, and apparently the Zoyonoid DNA is already in our DNA, and they just bring it out, and it basically turns people into these huge, powerful monsters with like crazy powers, like flame breath or lightning and beams, all kind of crazy shit, poison and acid. But there are all kinds of different Zoyonoids, and those are basically the enemies that Sho is gonna fight. He basically stole their Guyver unit. They want it back. And it's just that automatically, just by having a Guyver unit, he's in too deep. Just by him knowing about it, they would have to kill him and his friends and everyone that he knows. So he really doesn't have much of a choice but to fight against Kronos. And he, like, in the beginning, he does a really good job. Like, in the beginning, he's just whooping everybody's ass. I mean, he has a few problems here and there, and this is one thing that I was kind of surprised about with this anime, was like how they kept it interesting, because within like the first 2 or 3 episodes, you're already like, okay, I get it. He has a Guyver suit. They're sending Zoinoids after him. How are they going to keep this interesting? How are they going to keep this from being just another Monster of the Week anime? And even though it still kind of does have that Monster of the Week vibe, the way they always kept escalating it kept it interesting. Like, it was never like, oh, he's now just fighting Zoinoids throughout the whole thing. Now he's fighting, super Zoinoids, and oh, now he's fighting the Zoalors who control the Zoinoids. So they always just keep stepping it up, and it keeps it interesting. And the Guyver is constantly getting like new powers, and of course you got Guyver 2, Guyver 3 running around, and you got there's also another guy. His name is Mirikami, and initially when you see him, he seems like the only like normal human who can actually like fight back against the Zoinoids, other than Sho and Makishima, but they have the Guyver units. This guy just had a gun. That's why I liked him. He came to the battlefield just strapped up, shooting shit. So I was like, I like him. But he does have extra tricks up his sleeve. I'm not gonna reveal here. And I think like the main super bad guy is named Guyot, and he's like one of the big bosses that runs Kronos. And of course, we gotta take over the world with the Zoinoids and all that shit. But yeah. Now I'm gonna talk about just a few things that I liked about it in particular, and a couple bad things too. Now, first of all, I like the intro. I like any anime that has a good intro. Any anime that every time I turn it on, I don't want to skip the intro. That is awesome. It has a pretty cool like rock song playing in the beginning, and the way it's animated is pretty cool. So yeah, I always got to give a shout out to cool intros, cool anime openings. Oh man, don't we love them? And like I said, man, the story, like I said, honestly, this shit is kind of mediocre. I'm just going to say that now. But I really like, the one thing I do like about it was that it took me a while to really get into it, because it was so bland at first. But once I hit around like episode 9 or 10, and there are 26 episodes. So once I got around like 9 or 10, it kind of sucked me in. Like I was like, before I knew it, I was like watching like 4 or 5 episodes in a row. So I was like, yeah, that shit kind of hooked me in. So just, if you do watch it, you got to be kind of patient with it, because it's so bland. It's just, honestly, just, typical guy finds a suit, fights monsters type shit. So it's really bland. But once you get past a certain threshold, it you just kind of fall in love with it a little bit. And the monster designs, just the various Zoinoids, Super Zoinoids, Zoilors, and it was just a lot of cool designs. Like, but it seemed like they were modeled after like animals. Like you had like a big monkey-looking Zoinoid, and you would have like some that look like insects, and they were just really cool. Now, some of the bad things. Now, this is a petty one, but it has a useless love interest. I cannot stand. Look, I love good romance in an anime. I like it when it's subtle, and like it comes at like the right time. Like Kamina and Yoko, that was really cute, the way their relationship kind of formed in that show. But in this, it just feels like, okay, we need a love interest, let's just throw her in. I think her name is Mizuki. Man, these characters are fucking forgettable. Oh man, but yeah, it's like her whole purpose is just to really, I don't know, she acts kind of like I will give her this credit. She acts as kind of a motivation for Sho, because he has like that puppy dog, that puppy love going on, and he really likes her, and she kind of motivates him to fight. So I at least give her like that credit for playing that role as just being like motivation, something to protect. But that's really all she is, something to protect. You know, she doesn't really contribute to the overall game plan, the system at all. And also another petty one that they use Makishima to do like Sho's dirty work. Like they use him to do some of the more edgier shit just so Sho doesn't have to get his hands dirty. And I always notice that in anime, like they'll have the main character, they'll beat ass, but they won't go overboard. Then they have side characters that are pretty much delegated to do like to really fuck them up, like kill people. Kind of like how in Dragon Ball, Vegeta got his ass whooped by the Ginyu Force. Goku came and whooped the Ginyu Force ass, but they had to get Vegeta to actually kill the people in the Ginyu Force, because we can't do nothing with all these characters. We can't just have them landing around on the battlefield. So we gotta take them out, and we can't let Goku do it. So let Vegeta take them out. And it was just a few moments that were just like that in this, where they use like use the Black Guyver 3, Makishima, whatever you want to call him. They use him to do some of Sho's dirty work, and you can kind of tell like it's so obvious sometimes. You know, like they make that character just to sweep up, like just to get rid of motherfuckers, because they don't want the main one to look like an edgelord. But yeah, that was what else I hate about this shit? Mediocre animation. The animation in this, hold on, let me get a sip of water real quick. 11:41. Sorry about that. Now, yeah, the animation was pretty mediocre. That was another thing I disliked about it. It wasn't like it wasn't quality, you know what I mean? It wasn't like super bad, like noticeably bad. But the problem is, it's just that it had that mid 2000s like run of the mill like level animation, you know? You like those, just all those mid 2000 anime, they all kind of look the same. Like I guess that was when they were kind of transitioning from like I think from like drawing to digital and shit like that. So I guess that's why it looked so bland for that period. But it kind of has that boring, like, that. It's okay. It's serviceable. It's not bad. Like I said, it's just when you see it, it's like 2000. You just think 2005 anime. Oh man, but it's okay. But I just noticed, it's called anime. The animation should be at least like a 3, not like a 2. But anyway, now another thing that I kind of disliked about it was it had the reluctant, like the reluctant hero thing going on. You know, where the hero, they're not quite sure about what they want to do. They don't really have a game plan yet. They just found out they got some power and they don't really know how they're going to use it. And even though in this situation it's understandable, and really it's kind of always understandable when you have like a 14-year-old and they come across like some crazy shit like a power suit. You know, you basically become a fucking Power Ranger one afternoon, and what are you gonna do? Like, you will be confused. You wouldn't just automatically be kicking ass. But I guess as someone who's watched so much anime, it becomes, I don't look forward to having to wait to watch this person actually want to fight. You know, like that's the worst part. Like, just like Simon and Gurren Lagann, it's like having to watch him. I mean, it's important, it's integral to the story and shit, but when you see it time and time again, you can't wait for them to just man up and take that power by the balls and just start beating everybody's ass and training and getting stronger and saying, I'm taking out him, we gotta rescue this, we gotta fuck him up. Like, I want to see them really get into it and just go ham, but he does, like, as it goes along, but it definitely is like a longer period of him just not really understanding the suit and its capabilities. But that's the good thing about having characters like Makishima and Murakami around, because they're more like, those characters have goals. They know what the fuck is going on. They not confused. They playing 4D chess and shit. Like they making all kind of plays. So having them around balances it out. And then he also has like a little fat friend who kind of acts as like his manager, you know, because it's basically his fault that Show got hit with the Guyver. Like he picked it up and he ended up throwing it on Show, so he kind of feels responsible for Show being in this situation. So he kind of helps too, just as being like, yo, we need to do this, we need to do that. He can't fight, but he kind of acts as like the coach. So he's pretty cool. And it's very gory. It's a lot of blood and a lot of like decapitations, limbs being lost, motherfuckers being cut in half, cut sideways and over. It gets very bloody. Man. Now this is just a little warning. I don't know who did the subtitles for the version of this anime that I downloaded, but they were a little sketchy. So, like, my understanding of the plot might be a little, it might be have a few errors, a few holes in it, because I could tell those subtitles were, somebody did that shit when they were high as hell. Like those subtitles were fucked up. But yeah. And let me get another sip of water. Okay, and I guess that's about it. That was my review for the Guyver Bioboosted Armor. Overall, I would give this anime a 5.5. What can I say? It's just your run-of-the-mill, average, mediocre, you know, generic anime. I mean, honestly, I mean that's the best way I can describe it. It's not bad. It's very generic. You know, if you're not someone who's seen like 100 or 200 shows just like this, then maybe it will be more exciting for you. But me personally, I'm up there. I've seen like a lot of shows, and at this point, stuff like the Guyver just doesn't impress me. So I wouldn't say it's bad, but it's not good either. It just depends on where you are in your anime life cycle. You know, if you're not that experienced, you could check something like this out and might be pleasantly surprised. But if you're more experienced, I think you'll be beyond an anime like this. So, you know, keep it moving. But as always, I'm glad that I watched it. I feel like I always get a little something out of even the worst anime, like even the worst shows that I watch. I feel like I always get something out of it. And usually, like, the best thing about it for me is the memory. I never forget what I was doing, how I was feeling whenever I watch a particular anime. Whenever I think back to an anime, I can always think back to, like, I see so vividly like my lifestyle then. And that's why even with a show like this, I'm glad that I watched it, even though it was fucking mediocre. But I know I'm going to be able to look back and at the time I spent watching it, and you know, it's just fun. Watch anime is just a relaxing, fun thing to do. So even when you come across something like this, it might still leave just a little tiny mark on your brain. And that is all, people. I will see you later.